conference. We are back live here now at LA Live to give you some reactions of all the things we saw. I'm Jeff Keighley here, joined by Shane Satterfield, the editor-in-chief of Game Trailers, and Joel Johnson from Kotaku. We've got Peter Moore from EA Sports waiting in the wings, but first, Ubisoft, guys. Let's break it down. Ubisoft, you never know what to expect. They always sometimes make our E3 lowlights video with a couple of their moments. There was no laser tag this year, but there was Michelle Ancel with a little Shakespeare. There was Mr. Caffeine as their host. We just chalked this up to French humor, I guess?
I think it was better than last year.
It was better. It was improved, yes.
Not a whole lot, though.
That is the worst thing is everybody's like, it's better than last year. It was still a train wreck, but it was a better, slightly
I think you're right. It wasn't, completely over the top. I think the games they showed, there's stuff like Trackmania, which probably didn't need to be there, but you look at Assassins, that demo looked phenomenal. The CG piece was great. Yeah. Demo looked really phenomenal, and there was a cool cliffhanger at the end. And actually, tomorrow on Game Trailers, we have another piece of that puzzle with an exclusive clip that we'll be showing you guys tomorrow after the Nintendo briefing. So tune in for that. But yeah, it looks beautiful. What are your thoughts, Joel? We were joking about the fire cannon that apparently Da Vinci's able to craft
Da Vinci's flamer. Yeah, it's whatever. Like it's not like you play Assassin's Creed for like a lot. In fact, that's kind of why I like a lot of the little historical moments in Assassin's Creed, because it shows that they did a bunch of research and they've kind of earned the ability to throw it all away. But whatever. It's a flamethrower in Constantinople. Like it's completely silly, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, it looks great, and obviously there's going to be stuff with Altair that we haven't seen in that demo much. So lots to the Assassin's puzzle, but yeah, demo looks beautiful. I think it's going to be a big game for them coming this November.
Yeah, another big part of the game is the bomb making. They showed a little bit of that there, but that actually is a pretty deep rabbit hole that goes pretty far down. It has a lot of abilities to collect stuff, put them together, create your own bombs, kind of see what they do. They didn't show as much of it in the demos I thought they would, but it is a big part of the game.
I'm sure all the stuff from Brotherhood would be there, so you'll be able to have other assassins you can send out on missions and earn credits there. So yeah, that'll be coming in November. Going to be a big game. More on that tomorrow. A couple big announcements inside of the UB briefing. We also had a brand new Brothers in Arms that was announced by Randy Pitcher from Gearbox. This was not what we were expecting. I think you guys had a story speculating that another one was going to be unveiled. Probably this was not what I think most people were expecting. It looks like sort of Inglourious Bastards.
You can tell it's it's definitely inspired by Inglourious Bastards, but it's almost like they kind of missed the point of Inglourious Bastards in a lot of ways.
That combined with Team Fortress.
Yeah. Everyone's going on the Team Fortress, Overstrike from Insomniac. There's all this stuff, and these CG trailers are so hard to judge what the actual game's going to be. So you can obviously put a lot of attitude and style in a CG piece like this.
I appreciate that they're trying to do something with fun character design and all that stuff, but I have to say, any game that makes me kind of embarrassed and feel bad for the Nazis that are being killed is like maybe a little off.
Well, I think maybe they should have started a new franchise with that game.
Right.
That franchise is known to be sort of deathly serious and all about fighting arm in arm with your brothers, and they even kind of set it up that way at the press conference, and then they show it, and it's like, what? Is that really? I don't know.
Mein Kampf for kids. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, so that was a big surprise, though, in the briefing. Also, brand new Far Cry coming out. Far Cry 2 was a great game, set in Africa that people, I think, underappreciated a little bit. This one, new one, set on an island, big reveal. They're going to be here tomorrow to show us another demo in a different part of the island. But what was your take on this? Looks pretty beautiful and coming next year.
Well, I think if you did a shot every time someone dropped an F-bomb, by the time you get to the end of that demo, you'd be pretty drunk.
Yeah.
I thought that the first half of it was really. I think McWhirter in our live chat was saying it's rare that he's seen something that was that ominous and scary, but was like in the middle of the day, well lit. So I appreciate that part, and it looks like it looks kind of like a modern drama or something like that. But then towards the end of it, it's more people getting blown up in helicopters and all of that.
Very dramatic, very bloody.
Graphics engine looks great, as most of those games do.
Absolutely. So we've got Far Cry, we've got Brothers in Arms, we've got Assassins. Overall, how would you guys grade the Ubisoft briefing, especially compared to EA that we aired earlier today?
Well, I think they maybe dwelled on some games a little too long. Like, I think leading off with Rayman, if it was actually a 3D platformer, I think I've been a little more happy with that.
Strange choice to open the briefing with that.
Yeah, 10 minutes of a 2D side-scroller, maybe a little much. I don't think it really kicked off the press conference the way maybe they wanted to.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at the breadth of games, I think they hold up favorably to EA.
Absolutely. What about you, Joe? What's your thought?
Yeah, there's some solid and even things like Trackmania, I think they're going to be fun and are interesting, but it's just, there's something about when you're doing a presser, when you're showing all this stuff off, this is your one time a year to say, like, this is who we are as a studio, or as a publisher, this is what we've got, and it's just like, Ubi always seems to really, not care, which I don't know.
And then EA Sports has a Lombardi Trophy, all these great things. But Justine, what has the reaction been online to the Ubisoft preview? Because I cannot wait to hear what they're saying online.
Well, it's not surprised that pretty much the most talked about thing, other than the fantastic Assassin's Creed, is Mr. Caffeine. No, I hope I can do this right. Is probably the most hilarious thing. I was dying laughing while I was watching it, and everyone's wondering, is this the next E3 internet meme? And I'm pretty sure it is. And on Facebook, Barry is saying that Assassin's Creed 3 looks great, and I hope we get to play more of Desmond in the modern era. And William D is saying, I'm a huge Call of Duty and Battlefield player, but the new Rayman game looks so freaking funny and addictive. I could play it for months on end. Greetings to the makers. And we've also got some Twitter questions and comments here. Shifty Witch on Twitter says, holy God, I think I stopped breathing. I need Assassin's Creed Revelations like I need blood in my veins. So obviously, he needs it. And what do we got over there, Daniel?
Shifty Witch, what a great name that is. Huh?
That could have been a slip of the tongue there that would have been ugly.
It could have been. I'm here with EA Sports, Peter Moore. And of course, when you talk EA Sports, you got to talk about Madden football. Big, huge time of the year, obviously, for you guys to talk about what's new for the franchise. Tell us what's going on with Madden.
Well, we just came off the stage, as you know, Daniel, and had a lot of fun with Ray Lewis, Clay Matthews, the Green Bay Packers, and Peyton Hillis, our new cover boy from the Cleveland Browns. We talked about 3 separate things, and it's an important year for Madden because, of course, right now, all of those gentlemen are unemployed.
Right.
There's a lockout in the NFL. The one thing that is for sure is Madden is coming, Madden 12 be coming on August 30th. 3 things we talked about on the stage today. Dynamic player performance. When a player, Peyton's case, I ask him if you fumble the ball, does your confidence level go down? We're building in this dynamism almost into the AI itself, that if you're having a tough ride, you become more conservative in your play. And traits like confidence and are you good in the clutch, all of that stuff. Franchise mode, the fans, Madden Nation, 10, 15 million strong, have always said we need a stronger franchise mode. We put 100 new features into franchise mode alone this year to build that up. We've been a little lacking over the last few years, recognizing that and building up. And then the third thing, as we've been doing with FIFA, things like our collision AI and the defense. This is, our X, as we call it for Madden this year, is true to the game. And there's a lot more emotion in the defense, as typified by Mr. Lewis himself. But, to be able to have a more aggressive defensive play, get the collisions more realistic, things that the physics engine builds for us. So we're excited. And it's going to be an interesting year. I mean, every day that goes by, there's no NFL. Madden becomes more important.
Yeah, it does become more important, and obviously it's a mainstay, but there are cynics out there who say that every year you're not reinventing the wheel, you're kind of just updating. What do you have to say to them?
I would say if I could sit those people down for a year at Tiburon, in our studio in Orlando, and watch the work that goes into it, upgrading everything that we do, polishing, adding the new features. Again, something like online franchise mode, which has got over 100 new features in itself. It's always, I hear the story. The fact of the matter is nothing could be further from the truth. We live within the boundaries of football. We bring football to life in a way that nobody else has ever done in our industry.
Well, you're bringing new life to another new franchise. SSX obviously is experiencing a revolution, a reinvention, if you will. An exciting time for fans of that franchise and for you guys. What are the core goals with SSX?
Well, SSX, we're trying to your point, reinvigorate, bring it back to life again, but at the same time with a brand new feeling, and back into the modern era, if you will. So there's 3 elements that we see in SSX. Race it, trick it, like every great SSX, but also survive it. So now you've got speed coming in there. It's speed with style, as we've always done with SSX, but now having a more gritty environment, having all these mountain ranges which are rendered in real time from NASA satellite data, being able to play on any single major mountain range in the world becomes a big deal. So it is bringing SSX into the modern era, the next generation of platforms. It's been many years since we've been able to bring an SSX game back to life again from EA, but in January 2012, we'll be there.
All right, well, we'll look forward to seeing if we can carve out a new niche for the franchise,
hopefully,
of course.
So.
But FIFA obviously is huge for you guys.
Yeah.
And today you talked about something revolutionary and interesting in the football club. Now, talk a little bit about why this is the right time to do this and what exactly it means for the FIFA franchise.
Well, FIFA's, to your point, is by far the biggest sports video game in the world. Has been for a number of years now. We're looking at a title that sells about 15 million units a year, but more importantly, 42 million people experienced FIFA last year. We had 1.3 billion game sessions online played. We're bringing FIFA all the way from as simplistic as a FIFA Superstars game played for free on Facebook all the way to 11 versus 11 on Xbox Live or the PlayStation Network. we recognize we have so many touch points on so many different platforms for the FIFA experience, but they were all discrete and separate from each other. We're tying it together with EA Sports Football Club. So it recognizes you down if you're playing FIFA Superstars, it recognizes you and rewards you if you're playing on PlayStation Network or Xbox Live, and ties this element of persistence across everything, recognizing and rewarding you for playing. So really building a true club element to it, which most of us who've played in sports clubs understand the social element of that. We're bringing that to life. And so for the first time, you're going to see an EA Sports franchise, maybe even an EA franchise that has this complete persistence and presence that goes across, in our case, 6 or 7 different platforms.
Yeah, and obviously that's innovating within the brands. And looking at innovation, we talk about Kinect a lot. And I think a lot of hardcore gamers, hardcore sports fans, this huge audience you're talking about, are wondering what's really going to happen. You mentioned briefly that Kinect is going to help revolutionize the way we play sports video games. How so?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I've always wanted to audible in Madden. Right, I go there, I pick my play, I get my controller, I go, it's not what I wanted. Now you can back out and go again, but wouldn't it be cool? And this is something we're working on. Wouldn't it be cool to simply sound, I don't know, red/62Z go?
Yeah.
And that triggers code in the game that recognizes it. All the players hear that on the offensive line. It doesn't show on the screen, so your competitor doesn't know what's going on. And we know we can do that with Kinect.
Is it coming to Madden 12?
It will not be coming to Madden 12. This is all Madden 13. What I talked about this morning on the Microsoft press conference was 2012, which is our 13 series of titles.
Right.
But we'll be there with FIFA, we'll be there with Madden, and we'll be there with Tiger. And then we've got another piece of IP that we'll announce later. But there will be 4 titles in calendar year 2012 for EA Sports, utilizing Kinect.
One title you didn't mention was the NBA franchise. And after last year, I know that you guys took it seriously. You want to deliver the game you think you're capable of. Where are we at with NBA?
Taking a year off, as we announced. We moved the game over to our Tiburon studio in Orlando. Got a world-class team working on that. You often have to almost hit the reset button to get the quality level right. Not afraid of doing that. Our NBA partners have been tremendously willing to be able to work with us on that to make sure we don't have to rush a game back to market here to live up to some contract. We will not be issuing a simulation game to the market this year. NBA Jam is more than filling the void for our NBA license and doing so very nicely. We'll be back next year.
I'm sure I'm not the only one with questions for you. Justine, what do we got for Peter Moore?
Well, we have a ton of questions here from Facebook and Twitter. First, we've got one here from Atif S on Facebook, and they said, when can we expect EA Cricket?
EA Cricket. Well, we're huge cricket fans. We recognize the power of cricket. No plans right now to be able to bring something to the marketplace.
I was hoping for the exclusive announcement, right?
Yeah, no, sorry. I'm a huge cricket fan. I obviously grew up in England, love the game, but nothing to announce right now.
All right, so keep us updated. All right, we have one here from Nick S on Facebook. When can we expect to see a fight night with Kinect functionality?
That's a great question. So Fight Night Champion had a tremendous response to the community, but it was very different. I don't know if you had a chance to play it, Daniel, but it had a story mode in there, and we brought the game to life. This is our 5th iteration of the franchise. Many people think it's the best we've done. Having Kinect, probably something we can look at, but we think we're going down more the deeper storyline. It was an M-rated game, so from that perspective, we're probably going in a different direction.
Jason Lee, 1983 on Twitter, says, have you ever thought of making a first-person Madden game or an option to play Madden in first person?
You know, Jason, it's tough. We had looked, you might remember a football game many years ago that actually took that first-person perspective from the helmet, particularly from the quarterback. It's very difficult to get the field of play to see where your players are. So it was an experiment that happened. I don't think it worked particularly well. We continue to look at that. But I think what happens when you only have a singular first person, it's very difficult to actually see the field of play in the way that you're used to in a game like Madden. So we're always looking at that stuff, but nothing right now.
Well, we have one more question here from Facebook, from Paul T. And he's asking, are the new collision animation features going to be in the next NBA game?
That's a great question, Paul. We're looking at, clearly, if you saw the announcements today, both in FIFA and Madden, we had collision AI referred to, and then our impact engine in what we're doing in FIFA itself, really starting to bring the game to life in the way of tackling. Certainly, I think what we typically do all the time is look at learnings from one franchise to another. NBA is a contact sport, and we certainly be looking at that as well and maybe bringing that back to life as well. So great question from Paul.
Thanks for those very informative questions.
Great questions.
We appreciate it so much. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you all online. Peter, thanks so much for your time.
Daniel, my pleasure.
A bright future, obviously, for EA Sports, but right now we're going to turn to something a little more dark. Jeff's got a demo of The Darkness 2. Jeff, take it away.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Peter Moore out of the hot seat, but we've got Don Matrick coming up. But first, we've got Sheldon Carter here from Digital Extremes. We're going to talk about the Darkness 2, which is coming out later this year from you guys, and 2K Games. We've got the world premiere before E3 even opens of one of your demos. So tell us a bit about the Darkness 2 and your vision for this game.
Yeah, I mean, with Darkness 2, what we wanted to do is a couple things. We really wanted to make the experience about kind of this up-close and personal combat. So you've got these 2 demon heads from the first game that people loved. We want to really grab enemies, rip them in half, kind of show them, the whites of their eyes before you rip them apart.
So you got the demon heads, you got the 2 guns,
that's right.
Quad